just a little bit, episode 18, Not So Barren Barrow. We rejoin our party having recently defeated the Fel Udiog and its Yuan-Ti friends deep within a Fey Barrow to help the Myconids, a small hive of mushroom people who have asked them for aid to remove the creature that was destroying their mushroom forest home and putting them in danger. Our party did so, and on doing so discovered a number of important and helpful relics, as well as some help from the Myconids, removed a number of glyphs that were preventing the other Fae from returning to this Barrow to set things to right. So we come back to join the party having finished a short rest and recovered a little bit from the rigors of their day. What would you like to do next?
I think we are leaving this forest and taking care of the last remaining rooms. That way we can go home.
That sounds like a good plan. I'm tired of all of this.
I miss my bed. Also, Truehome needs to know that they are in grave danger. Also, I don't trust Nettle not to sell the house.
I feel like Valen for a moment is like, no, that's a good point.
We've only been gone today.
2 days now.
You have not lived with Nettle.
Nettle is very impulsive. Like, and that's coming from me, and I am impulsive.
Today is day 2.
Our front room has almost been turned into a plant store at least 3 times.
Art mimicking life, mimicking art.
Mimicking plants.
So, as you are getting up from your short rest, the Myconid Sovereign comes back over to you and it basically looks to each of you. Thank you for the help that you've given the Myconid people. Can the Myconid do anything else for you before you go?
Would you be able to,
the door?
The Myconid can show you the door.
Would you be able to, package up a little bit of that metal-eating slime for us?
The Myconid could provide you this.
Just be careful, Twid. You're also made of metal.
That is true. Maybe someone else should hold it.
I can put it in the bag.
And a moment later, they come up to you with this sort of waxy-looking lump. And one of them held it up to you.
Twid will mage hand it up to Flip.
And when you take it, it's a little tacky on the outside. It's very like if you've ever touched beeswax, consistency-wise. And you can sort of see on the inside, there's a darker purple something on the inside. This contains Myconid spores.
And it's okay if we just smear this on some other glyphs? Is that gonna spawn some Myconid that in random places you don't want them?
It is good for the Myconid to spread.
Oh, okay. Happy to help.
And I'll say at this point, since you spent
not our problem.
You spent the last hour resting, as you go to look over where the glyph was, you can actually see that there is what look to be little tiny baby Myconids growing out of where the glyph was.
I love this.
Oh, so we're almost like bees helping you fertilize and stuff. Okay, I'm down with that.
Would I have baby Myconids growing off of me?
Are you sure that they're not inside of you right now? Growing inside of your body? Because you breathe in the spores?
I don't really have much of a inside. And Twid will go clank, clank, clank.
Are you solid?
No.
So,
I designed myself to be fairly hollow and lightweight.
Yeah, so I'm saying they're growing from the inside. In.
Or maybe Twid is just filled with their patron's love.
Twid will turn their head so that their eyes are just facing down into their chest cavity.
something growing inside of Twid.
You see the patron, and when Twid's eyes go down, Thorn's going to motion to you like,
The Myconid do not wish to take up residence in this creature's body.
That's probably for the best, honestly. You don't want to get inside their head.
I'm pretty sure you wouldn't like the new roommate you would get.
The Myconid do not disagree with you.
But we do
should
appreciate
be going. We did leave all of our friends just sitting in the entrance hall.
They're safe.
They probably think we're dead now.
Who says we're not?
Do we really need to debate that philosophical question right now?
Maybe we're all just spore meat puppets now.
Well,
Not the worst way I could think to go.
I mean, we're all gonna die
Better than being turned
someday.
into a UNT.
And when you say that and make that joke, one of the Myconid sovereign looks to you and goes, "Do you wish to join the Myconid
No.
and become part of the Cilium?" Very well.
Not right now, unfortunately. I have work to be done.
The Myconid understand.
Although I do have a new idea for a doll.
Oh my god, a little mushroom doll?
Maybe.
Can you learn that? I think it's just on the druid list. That weird blister spore.
Blight?
No. There's literally a druid spell that you make little spore mushrooms pop up and they like puff out psychedelic.
Oh, yeah. I mean, maybe. It seems thematic.
Back to actually progressing.
Yeah, so
I think we
backtrack
want to
to
lead us
the-
out of this room, and then we want to go back through the other door.
The Myconid will show you out on your way out, and several of the smaller Myconid come up and start to lead you off into the mushroom forest.
While we're walking, Calvin wants to like pull out his journal and start designing Lightning Woo Woo Glove Spectacular 3.0.7.A.7.
You can start designing a Spellvor gauntlet.
Because now I have fancy Spellvor scales and I have fancy metal that also takes enchanting well.
Oh, I honestly hadn't thought about the fact that I just gave you a curriculum.
You give me all the pieces to the puzzles, and then are
No, it's
surprised when
fair.
I tell you I have all the pieces.
No.
I can all over again.
I gave you magical metal on purpose so you could make magical stuff with it. I just didn't connect the dots that you also had the Spellvor Hydra scale or like shell. I knew you would make something.
Woo-woo.
I just don't try to anticipate what it's going to be.
that's an exercise in futility.
It's an exercise in picking something and being totally wrong when you build something completely different. So you head off into the mushroom forest, and this part is very, as you get away from the Yuan-Ti camp, is nicer. It's clear that something has been tending these forests. These larger mushrooms, very much like tree size, grow up overhead, creating this little canopy. And you can see there's these smaller bushels and bushes of mushrooms growing here and there along the stones and rocks. A number of them phosphorescent and glowing. And after a certain point, you actually come to what looks to be it's very much designed like a farm with tons of mushrooms growing in these tight rows. And you can see that there is Myconids going between them, wearing little cloth sacks, picking up some of the mushrooms and putting them into their sack. And harvesting the various mushrooms that they're growing.
Flip is gonna like lean down to one of the ones that's escorting us out and be like, "So, do you harvest any mushrooms that are like good for a trip?"
Many of our mushrooms are very good for travel.
But what about like brain travel?
Flip, we were abducted by a dragon and you're thinking about drugs.
I'm
You
just
wish to
making
make-
conversation.
You wish to make use of mushrooms that have psychedelic properties.
I mean, I'm just, curious what type of mushrooms you harvest, and it seems like an interesting type
The
of mushroom.
Myconid do cultivate psychedelic spores and mushrooms to be used in our defense. But we are aware that other species do make use of them from our ancestral memories as trade goods.
Correct. It's a trade in recreation.
The Myconid do have what you would call psychedelic mushrooms.
And how much are they?
As of the Myconid, we would be willing to share these with you.
You guys are the best.
And like a moment later, one of the Myconids out of the field comes walking over to you and reaches up to hand you these three, like, as you look down at them, they are this deep purple mushroom. Very like the classic like fairy tale mushroom where they have the little spots on them and they have the little cap. And they hand them, each of them is probably about that big.
Ooh,
and they hand you 4 of them.
Can I have one too? I'm vaguely curious to know what would happen to me. I don't know if it'd work on me.
They offer you one of the 4.
Yay! And Twit's gonna put it into their bag.
And they give you the other 3. And then one of them, like, when you like go to take them, they like put their hand on top of your hand, a little tiny mushroom hand. The Myconid feels obligated to provide a warning. You should not consume more than 1/4 of one of these mushrooms at one time.
I appreciate the warning, and we'll use these to joyously remember our time with the Myconid.
For best delivery, the Myconid suggest the use of consuming the mushroom within other foodstuffs.
Make brownies out of them.
Uh-huh. Oh, awesome. I love magic brownies.
Omelets. Magic omelets.
I love that the Myconid give safety warnings. That just makes me so happy.
They're conscientious in their use of psychedelic mushrooms.
They're drug dealers, not criminals.
As we're also walking, Twitter's gonna sidle over to Calvin and go, Calvin, could I have a little bit of the powdered silver? I have a spell that needs powdered silver as a component.
Calvin will just reach into his bag and grab one of the bags of silver and just plop.
Ooh! Okay. Oh, how big are these bags?
Comical money bags.
Yeah. Scrooge McDuck money bags.
Twid's hands just like go to the ground. Oh, okay. And Twid will put it into their bag. Thank you, Calvin.
Yeah, no problem. Just don't waste it.
I would never.
Don't spend it all in one place, kid.
Like don't just like sprinkle it on the dolls.
Or do. Well, along with the psychedelic mushrooms, what's the worst that could happen?
Take the mushrooms, then sprinkle it on the dolls.
You should just give Selwyn the entire mushroom all at once.
Oh my god.
And then see through their eyes.
Do not feed your familiar psychedelic mushrooms.
You can experience it without any of the consequences because it's not your body. You can just share senses.
As Selwyn is just like twirling off, and Twit is just laying on the ground like.
And he's a familiar, so like, what's the worst that happens? You resummon him?
So psychedelic sky dancer.
We do not.
Twid pops the Sky Dancer back to their own reality so they can like fuck up wherever they're from.
Just a Little Bit does not endorse the use of psychedelics with your familiars.
Twid is Twid just like spins on the ground along with Selwyn's.
So back to
Whatever y'all do on your own time.
Yeah.
Back
to the adventure and not to the ill-advised decisions of this party. And psychedelic mushrooms.
I have neither taken mushrooms nor attempted to use them on a familiar.
Fair. Leaving you come to the point where the mushroom forest starts to slowly subside, and you are now on what looks to be more just like the small mushrooms about a foot tall at the highest, and that thick lichen and green moss that covers the floor. And you can see here that the wall of the cave that you were in has this large mural across it, which seems to be depicting spring like you saw before. You had seen the 4 murals of the different seasons. This one is all spring. And it's just this beautiful depiction of forests and fields all in bloom of green. And there's deep pools of water. And there's a small mountainside across one part that has a huge dragon perched along the top. This dragon, though, its body is formed of like vegetation. And its wings are spread, and you can see that all inside of the wings look to be flower petals in like this elaborate swirl of color.
But not like pink, right?
Not pink. Like, it's for the majority of it is the dark green of vegetation, and like painstakingly someone has drawn out all the leaves along its body. Then it has all along the underside and within its wings are this riot of colors of like just basically any kind of color that you could see in flowers in like these rolling waves of color.
See, this is a much nicer dragon.
Then I will say, Valen, if you want to give me a history check.
I can do that.
Would Twid's painting proficiency help at all?
Not in this instance, no.
I got a 17 on history.
17, you would recognize that this is one of the forms of the Queen of Spring.
Ooh.
This is one of like the avatar forms that she can take.
I feel like I look at it a second, I'm like, oh, I recognize this dragon. I know her. And I'll tell the group. I'm like, that's the Queen of Spring.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, that's what she would look like.
You've seen depictions of her when you visited the Fey Courts back home in the Verdant Weald.
But I've never met her, like, in person, right?
You've met the lesser queens. So, like, a queen can rule over an individual court of the Fey. She is the queen. She's on the top of that, like, hierarchy.
She is the RuPaul of Spring.
Yeah, basically. There's a lot of other season winners that have their own thing going on.
You've met Tyra Sanchez.
Yeah.
But you haven't met RuPaul.
I mean, the better metaphor would probably be that you've met Tandy Amani Dupree.
I said what I said.
You met Tamisha Aman, a true queen. You have not met RuPaul.
And I feel like I don't want to. That's like one of those things where you're like, I feel like if I'm in the room with them, I will be lit on fire.
When Valen like points this out, I'm just gonna lean over and be like, so does that mean like this room changes? Do the Myconid like change with the seasons? Because aren't we in like spring now? So does that mean stuff changes in here?
I don't believe so, considering this house belongs to the Court of Spring. It is not general Fey territory. It is someone's home.
Yeah, so I would say most of you, just as people who live in Obra, would know that the Fey Courts, they make up like a distinct group of Fey. Different types of Fey are drawn to each of the 4 seasons courts, and then there are actually courts that have nothing to do with the seasons. That's just like one of the organizations. The Spring Fey, Spring and Summer Fey, who are super interested in growing seasons in the green, live predominantly in parts of the Verdant Weald or other parts where like raw potential of nature exists. And oddly enough, I would say for you, having been an Ashahai Thorn, you would know that the Winter Fae and the Ashahai actually do not like each other.
Oh, we don't get along?
Mm-mm. Where one lives, the other tends to avoid.
Yeah, I see how those two groups would have differences of opinion.
Yeah. And then you've got your more generic Fae who just fall under like, oh, they're shadowy, or they are all led by a specific ruler or powerful archfey.
Twit is gonna snap Selwyn back into existence.
Selwyn reappears next to you.
And go, Selwyn, you're related to Faye, right? Do you like the picture?
Wait, this...
Selwyn claps their hands in excitement.
Is Selwyn still carrying the thing with the tracking? Wasn't Selwyn how Orman
I
was
assume
finding us?
Selwyn dropped it when you snapped them into the Feywild the first time, but
And as you say that, Selwyn pulls the little thing out of its pocket and holds it out towards you.
Selwyn,
fuck
no!
me.
Snap! Snap!
And Selwyn disappears along with the sigil that was made for you by Orman.
I am going to personally take Orman apart piece by piece at some point.
Well, now I think we have a time
I mean,
limit.
maybe. I mean, hopefully, since we're like deep in the Feywild, maybe it like will mess with the tracking.
Do we really want to risk that?
yeah,
Nope,
let's
go to the
not
next
test
room.
that theory. Let's do what we came here to do and then be hundreds of miles away.
Yeah, let's keep going. I feel like we were in the middle of Valen giving Flip a lecture on like how the Fae worked and everything when this happened. Like, oh nope, okay, lesson's over. Let's go.
Yeah, back to the original room.
And I can say you can see the whole mural in front of you, and the Myconid point to it. The door is here.
We thank the Myconid for their help, and then just book it for the door.
The Myconid send their warmest regards with you.
I feel like as
That's
we're running,
what
I'm like, bye, I'll never forget you.
Thank you for the mushrooms!
The Myconid hope you enjoy responsibly.
Door open.
So you run towards the mural, and as you get closer, you look around. You actually don't see a door in the mural.
Investigation.
Yes, you can give me an investigation check.
Brightest screen in the world. 13.
13. You look around and you don't see a door. You kind of do that thing where you like feel a little bit along the mural, and you don't see anything that marks it, like stands out to you as a door.
Well, I tried.
Another investigation check. Can I try to have
You can try
Can
to
I say
investigate.
I'm helping so Flip has advantage?
Yes, you
'Cause
can
I
help
have
Flip
no
has
investigation.
advantage.
Okay, well that's a 15 for Flip.
Okay. So you spend some time kind of going over it, and like I said, you can see that there's the cliffside with the dragon perched atop, and then there's just some rolling fields, and there's a forest, and in particular, you notice there's a depiction of this large pond, and in the center of is a small island, and there's this huge willow tree, or this huge weeping willow that kind of leans over the whole thing, and it's got this beautiful, elaborate canopy. As you're kind of moving around and you move your hands over it, you see the leaves start to sway a little bit as the mural sort of comes to life under your hand.
Like, oh, I don't know why, but oh, this is a cool section. Okay, this is doing something. I'm gonna do the, like a mirror check thing where I'm like, okay, does it only move when I'm next to it? Like hot and cold, where does it move the most? Like, see if I can kind of figure out what makes it move in particular.
So as you swipe your hand across it, anywhere you move your hand, the leaves start to sway as though they're being like affected by it. But if you move off of it, the other parts don't seem to move as well.
How big of a space is it? Like,
It's a good 10 feet across at this part of the mural.
If I try to part the branches of the willow tree a la Pocahontas, can I try try to push through? Can I walk through it?
You can give me a wisdom or nature check.
Real good, 21.
So you dip your hands in, and they actually, as you're touching it, they slide into the weeping willow depiction on the mural. And as they do so, you feel them start to come out of the mural and rub against your hands. And you can see this effect as though they are sort of like moving off of the paint and into reality as you part them. And as you step through, you can feel them sort of wash over you, and it's that rustle of leaves and branches across your armor and your face. And for a second, you feel them tighten as though they're going to grab hold of you. But then you feel this peace and this connection to nature that's part of your worship of the Frost Maiden sort of wash through you, and you feel the vines, the leaves and plants relax, and you step through, and you're now inside of what is like the dome of a weeping willow.
Oh, me next! And Twit is just gonna run into the branches.
You need to make either a wisdom or a nature check for me as well.
But what if I don't? Because those are not good for Twid.
Then you die.
Three.
So you go rushing into it, and you kind of like dive into it, sort of like, yay! And as soon as you hit the branches, you feel them snag around you, and those of you on the outside see Twid's form start to slowly rise up as the branches like pull in, and then they disappear into the branches. You, though, on the inside, Thorn, standing underneath this canopy, as you turn to look, you kind of suddenly see Twid pop out, completely cocooned in the wrappings of the vines, or I should say, the leaves and branches, sort of just on the inside, looking down at you from about 5 feet up.
Are Twid's hands wrapped up too, or just like their torso?
Just like your arms and your torso.
Twid's hands are just gonna wave at Thorn. Hi, Thorn!
Should probably do something about that.
I'm gonna walk up to the tree and just kind of give it a stern look and be like, "That was rude."
Are you doing
then
anything else?
And then I'm gonna try to walk through, and I'm like, and I'm giving it a look like, "You need to be nice."
You step through. You just walk right through.
That's what I thought.
Thorn from the inside is gonna like pet the branch that is holding Twid and go, as funny as I feel this, would you mind putting him down? He's odd, but relatively harmless.
Wee.
What about the other two? Are you doing anything in this moment?
Yeah, I'm gonna tentatively, like reach through and if it gives way, try to step through.
Yeah. So I would say if you want to make a wisdom or nature check for me as you try to move through.
9.
Join me.
So you get through, and you are most of the way through before you feel the branches start to snag around you, and you actually step out and break through the bushes, and you can see Thorn in front of you, and you can see the trunk of the tree, and you can see that all from the inside of the branches, it is a live tree. It's no longer a mural, and you can see it kind of rustling, and you make direct eye contact with this stone statue set inside the right next to the trunk. This depicts a beautiful woman sort of glancing over shoulder at you, long flowing hair behind her. As you do, you feel as the trailing arm that's still in the vines just snag. And instead of being fully held like Twid was, you are upper body part of your arm and your entire lower arm are all snagged in the vines. So you're like 3/4 of the way out.
I prefer being in the water.
If you turn into an otter right now, would your arm shrink so much that it would let go of you?
I'm gonna try to turn into an otter.
Go ahead. And Calvin, what about you? What are you doing? Are you just watching all this unfold?
I feel like Calvin is watching and just like piecing through and being like, okay, I think I understand, and he'll try to go through.
Same role as everybody else.
Have a decent nature check. 21.
21? Yeah. So you walk through and you're sort of seeing everybody else go through. You realize that it seems you feel this, it's a probing presence, like it's trying to figure out more about you. And so you think some of the positive energy of spring and growth and life. And as you do, and you feel sort of at one with the tree, you slide through it calmly, no problems. And Pork Roll comes right behind you. Clink, 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 clink.
I mean, I'm not unsurprised that the little metal warlock got pulled up.
The tree looked inside of you and went, "Oh."
Does turning into an otter do anything for me?
So you pop down to otter size, and as you do, you just and the branches let you go, and you're able to skitter forward. Now in otter form, looking adorable.
My little white otter. I'll just like meet for a second, and then transform back, and like as I'm putting my clothes back on, just kind of turn and look at the tree, like unsure, but be like, "Thanks, I guess."
You said
But I'm
there's
gonna stay away from the branches.
Mhm.
you said there's a statue, right? Of the
Yeah.
like I'm gonna go up to the statue and kind of give it like a little bow and just be like, "Can you please put our friend down now? Like, we're trying to help."
Then you say that, you give a little bow, and after a moment, the same face that you see on the statue actually seeps up out of the wood, all in bark and detail, and as it opens, you can see the eyes of these deep green irises, and the mouth is actually like these very thin flower petals in the shape of a mouth, and they open in the eyes, and you can actually feel it like give a little like, and you see the woman's face in the trunk of the tree, and she goes, "The one you bring with you, it is not at peace with nature and is not welcome within my grove."
I mean, to be fair, he is made of metal. They are made of metal. And that comes from nature. I mean, in a way.
It is not their form that is repugnant to us. It is the cancer that grows inside of them.
Yeah, Twid's not at peace with a lot of things.
I can get cancer?
That's
I
not
can
literally
vouch for
Twid.
them, though. I can vouch for them, though. They have been very helpful in trying to restore the Barrow and drive the corruption out from within it.
And the head sort of turns to look at you directly. While sap flows within your veins, it is a pollution of the outer planes that flow within the veins of this creature. You would do wise to be wary of its nature.
Outer planes, you say? And Flip has a notebook out and is scribbling.
Oh, don't worry. We keep a good eye on Twid.
If it helps, whatever that is not here right now.
There's a rot left behind that is not so easily expunged.
Calvin, do you have any steel wool?
I think Calvin's just gonna like look up at Twid, and then look at the talking tree and just be like, "Okay, we can leave Twid here for like a minute if you all watch him. We just want to find a glyph," and he'll like hold up his drawing in his journal. Like, we just need to find this and break it, and then we'll leave and we'll take Twid with us.
You may pass beyond, but this creature need be dealt with before what taints it grows. Or I will not have the roots of my sisters destroyed by this creature's presence. And you feel the vines around you, or the branches around you, tighten a little bit.
I don't want to mess with anyone's roots.
Does the tree count as a humanoid because it has a face?
Do you want to give an Arcana check to see, or Nature check to see?
Could I also try to see if I can do a history check to see if I recognize who might be speaking to us? Like,
Yes.
if I'm like, oh, I know her. I got a dirty 20 on history.
Dirty 20 on history. I will say that, and what did you get,
14.
Calvin? 14. I will say with a 14, you recognize that this is probably some type of tree spirit or dryad. But she seems more powerful than some of the dryads her presence is more powerful than some of the dryads you've heard of. I will say for you, with your 20 in history, you think this is a grove matron. It is the dryad responsible for a grove of dryads. And so because of her connection to the other dryads, she is more powerful and able to command more magic than her siblings.
So before we do anything rash, you do confirm that there are indeed these harmful glyphs within your groves?
There were strange creatures that entered our grove not through the pathway that you used, and they left several of these glyphs behind and polluted the pool of stars.
That sounds like a real problem, and I mean, we're definitely just here to help. I understand our compatriot is a bit unusual, but they've proven helpful, like we said. And while I understand your aversion, we kind of need them as they are.
And like the eyes narrow a little bit, and the flowery lips press into this thin line. Your goal is to remove these glyphs from our home?
We were sent here by Knight Rowan to do exactly that.
You do bear the mark of that promise. We will allow you to remove this creature from our grove and give you passage inward. But you must be gone before the next dawn, or we will take matters into our own hands.
We find ourselves on a bit of a time crunch as it is, so I don't see us having any problem with these terms. And I'll give like a slight bow.
I'm also going to give a bow and say thank you, Grove Matron, for allowing us to finish what we set out to do.
I would bow too, but I can't. My hands will just do like a little flourish.
And as it happens, the vines just let you go.
Ah!
You don't fall hard enough to actually take any damage, but you definitely like ass over a tea kettle into the grass beneath it. And like she turns to look specifically at you, Valen. By our kinship, I would warn you of what dwells within this creature. It stinks of an ancient nemesis. Do not be led in by false friendship. It may have value, but it will only lead you to madness and ruin.
Where can we find this creature?
She's
I
talking
feel like
about you, Twiddle Mop.
in kind of like a rare moment of like Valen being serious, it's just like I appreciate the concern and the advice, Grove Matron.
See that you keep your promise, or I will keep mine. And then the face slides back into the trunk and disappears. And you can see on the far side the willow's branches spread open, and you are now looking in what it basically is like a beautiful grove of trees, very like hers. Most of them are also willows with the overbrow or with the canopy above, but they don't grow fully down to the ground, so you can kind of see into the grove. There is a huge circle of them that go around what looks to be this. Basically, there's 3 circles that run inside of each other. From where you are, you can't clearly see to the middle, but you can see that on the ground within the second circle, between some of the trees, are more of the glyphs that you saw before. And looking up, you can see that above them is what looks to be, for all intents and purposes, the night sky. There's a canopy of stars overhead.
And she mentioned the Well of Stars being poisoned, right?
The pool of stars, yeah.
Which is also how we're getting home.
Turn to Twid and be like, just Don't touch anything.
I wasn't touching anything. The vines picked me up.
Keep your arms.
I'm just
and
saying, they don't seem to like you.
the ride.
And as you say that, you lift your hand up, you look down and realize that there is a thing of leaves and like a small bit of branch wrapped around your hand.
Wow. I think I got a bracelet.
They did say they were watching you, so we should hurry.
I don't think this
and
conversation
Flip-
is over, Twiddlemop.
Nod in agreement. And I'm gonna just kind of slowly, carefully move towards the glyphs.
You go past the first
Generally
row of
looking
trees,
at
and about 10 feet in is the second row. Looking down, you can see that someone has indeed like carved into the dirt itself, and then poured the metal, which looks like at one point was probably molten, into the glyph.
How many glyphs are we looking at?
You can see 3 from where you are, but they're between the canopies and some of the the other like brush and stuff. You can't see between all the other trees in the grove.
I'm gonna pull out the ball of wax with the it's not the mycelium, the myconid spores, and
Crack it open.
I'm gonna try to like core out a little hole, kind of, so I can like pour it. Well, a controlled pour, so I'm not just like cracking it open and spilling it all out at once.
Yeah, so you carve into a little bit, and it does give way under your hand. And after a moment, you do pop through, and you can see that there is some of the spores. They are a little like powder meets liquidy feel. Like it's very that kinetic sand almost in texture. But you can see that there is indeed a thing of spores like held in the side of this bowl.
Does anyone have like a spoon or a spatula? Gonna reach into the bag of holding and see if I can get it.
If you reach in, go ahead.
I was gonna say I have a paintbrush.
Oh, perfect. I'll take that from Twid and use the paintbrush to like smear the spores. Like a good amount from, I assume, watching the myconid do it, enough to take care of the glyph, but hopefully enough that I'm not wasting.
Yeah, so you take it and you sort of spread it out, and you use up probably what you think about 1/8 of what you have to cover this glyph, and you can pretty quickly see that the little tiny bits of mushroom matter start to sprout up along the glyph itself.
Twid is gonna lay down next to the glyph because it's on the ground, right?
Yeah.
Twid is gonna like lay down to it and hold the bracelet up like right over and go, "Ooh, you're gonna want to see this. This is cool."
Unsettling.
Then I'm gonna move on and do the same to all the glyphs that I can see at this point.
And I'll say if you move to the third one, you can see that it looks like every 3 trees or so, there's a glyph. And if you go, are you going to try to track all the way around?
Yeah.
There are 6 glyphs in total.
I'm gonna just generally keeping an eye out, trying to be vaguely careful, but mostly focused on just getting these glyphs eaten up by the myconid spores.
Yes, you go through and you start painting on each of the glyphs, and you can see that they're starting to sprout already. And even by the time you've made it to the last glyph, the first glyph's already starting to crumble and fall apart underneath the effects of the myconid spores. Anyone else doing anything while Flip is walking around?
They're all distracted painting glyphs. Thorn is going to go back to the statue real quick.
Okay.
And sort of like take a knee in front of it and like lean in and whisper. As one whose oath to the maiden is to protect the wilds, believe me when I say, should a change not occur, the warlock's days are numbered.
Long have your people served as guardians of the wild world and battled before creatures from beyond Obra who threaten our homes. Be wary. What dwells inside of it is insidious.
I have long suspected something off. Do not mistake tolerance for friendship.
Your stance is wise.
And then Thorn's going to go back to the rest of the group.
God, these dryads are so territorial and protective.
Twit is just still taking the bracelet on an adventure, looking at all the myconids growing.
And you do. Then you walk over each one and you can see that they're growing. Is anyone else doing anything at this point? I will say, as the last glyph, as you paint the very last of the glyphs, the closest in group of the trees, their canopies all touch and have been providing almost like a curtain around the interior of whatever this grove is. As you paint the last glyph and turn to look, you can see that they start to part, so that there's about 5 feet between each canopy that you can see into, and you can see there's a large pool of water that's set right in the middle of all of the trees. And it gives you this really weird, trippy effect for a second, because it perfectly mirrors and reflects the sky above you, so it is full of stars. And you can see that there's the soft glow of light all the way around, mimicking the stars above.
Oh,
Did the matron say the pool had been poisoned as well, or was that just the effect of the glyphs?
She was saying that the pool had been corrupted.
I did not take purified food or drink.
I don't know if this counts.
I was going to say the pool's a little big for that. You would guess that it's probably about like 25 feet in diameter.
I'm gonna walk up to it.
Okay, so you walk
Alan
through
has
the
no impulse control.
You walk through the trees and you can feel some of the branches sort of lean out as though they're like caressing your sides, and you feel very welcome by this space. As you step out and you look down, you can see that just like I said, it's almost like a perfect mirror of unbroken. It's like someone took a piece of the sky and just dropped it into the ground. And you can see that there's these small crystals all around the outside that glow with this faint in like luminescence from within. As you look up, you can see that there's a star that matches each of them perfectly in the sky, forming the outside of this pool.
Which this is a good sign, because I would recognize that like this is indeed the pool that we are looking for.
Yes, this matches what you've seen before.
I'm gonna lean over and like look into the pool and just kind of like observe it for a second, see if I see anything weird within it, I guess.
Yeah, so if you want to give me a straight up, just give me an investigation check. Almost said
I don't see shit. I rolled a 2.
Yeah, you look down and you can see that you see the stars and you see the glow of the lights, and it's very pretty.
I'm gonna touch it. Like I'm gonna like try to tap my finger, I guess, against.
You do, and you see the little ripple just propagate out through the pool, giving everything this slow, smooth ripple effect, and then it slowly settles back down to being calm.
I feel like I turn over my shoulder and I'm like, I don't see anything wrong with the pool, but maybe like its essence is corrupted.
If I walk up to it, can I make like a perception to see like, is there something in it? Is something off?
Yeah, go ahead and give me a perception
Is there
check.
a crystal out of place? Nope. Rolled a 2.
Yeah, you're looking around and you don't
6.
see anything that jumps out of place to you. Mostly because you have no frame of reference for like what this is supposed to look like.
If I touch a finger to the pool and burn 5 points of lay on hands to neutralize a poison, does that do anything?
No, you don't. You actually go to like try to burn it and you don't feel any. There's no target for you. Your lay on hands is meant to work on like living beings.
The two people. I was gonna say the two people with like the closest connection to nature are like, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with this.
I could soak up the pool, but I do not believe that would be helpful.
And what were you saying, Twid?
Oh, at this point, Twid is introducing the bracelet to all of their dolls.
Okay.
And this is Lucretia. She really doesn't like haircuts. And this is... Oh, God. Copernica. And Andrea. Etc.
And as you do, you put your hand by the doll, and you suddenly feel something clamp on your forearm.
Hello?
And as you look down, you can see the faint after image of like a tentacle wrapped around your arm. It's very that like mirage effect. You can it's translucent. You can see through it, and it's this faint wisp of light, like kind of, and you can feel the pressure of it grabbing your arm.
Oh, hi. You might want to take a nap right now or something because I don't think they like you very much here.
And your arm, you feel the pressure on your arm push your arm up, and so your arm is pointing towards the pool.
Okay. I guess I'm walking towards the pool now. Come on, bracelet.
And you walk towards the edge of the pool, and you look down, and you see this beautiful carpet of stars below you. And after a moment, the pressure disappears, and your arm is free. But as you look down, you can see that there's this particular star that catches your eyes. And as you try to look past it, you can't. You just feel this pressure, pushing you towards this star, and it glows with this deep, kind of sickly yellow light that's very similar to the cloak that your doll wears. And after a moment, you feel this familiar pressure in the back of your mind, and you hear, "Ah, there you are. I've been looking for you."
Oh, hi. Are you going for a swim right now?
No, Twiddlemop. I just needed you to see something that would help trigger your memories of me. I've been looking for you everywhere.
Oh, well, I wasn't really looking for you. I was kind of screaming at the doll for a little bit, and then there was a toilet break, and then I got angry, and then we were getting chased.
You've had a busy day.
I have. It hasn't been a good one. Or, I guess now it has been a good one.
I am comforted to find you again.
You're not the one infecting this pool, are you?
No. It simply has the right astral energy to allow me to reconnect with you.
I'm assuming we're all watching Twid just having this one-sided conversation.
Oh yeah, no, you're all aware that he's having this conversation right now.
Okay.
I
Twiddlemop?
was gonna say, at some point, I'm gonna be like, not now, Twid, not now.
Who were you
not,
talking
not a good
to?
time.
What?
Who are you talking to?
I think that star, or something like that. Something about astral resonance, something, dark side.
And is this the one you mentioned being absent, or is this someone new?
You've been telling secrets, Twiddlemop.
I mean, neither absent nor new?
Do I even need to insight check this?
Yes, give me an insight check. Yes.
Natural fucking 20. 24.
You are remarkably suspicious that something more is going on, but you don't have a frame of reference beyond having seen the doll that one time to that there's something going on. I mean, you know what warlocks are, and
So
you
I know what a warlock is. I know that Twid has said the doll wasn't talking anymore, and then what the Grove Matron said.
There's some things that you're putting together. Yeah. You have some suspicions.
Twiddlemop, it might be best to set that conversation aside for now. The Grove Matron is wary of you as it is.
I mean, okay. We've got a lot of catching up to do, though, okay?
Indeed. We can discuss more later when you make your way home.
Twit is in like a noticeably better mood now.
And as you're saying that, and you're like, oh, I mean, like, Twid looks noticeably better. You hear from the other side of the pool, "Hi, Twid."
Uh-oh.
Motherfucker!
God damn it, Selwyn.
And as
Thorn
you
just
look,
draws their swords.
and as you look over, Ormond's there waving at you from across the pond, flanked by two of the pit lords that you saw previously.
How far away is Horman?
About 25 feet across, or about 30 feet across on the other side of the pool. "Hi, Twid."
I'm going to kill you, Orman.
"I knew I would find you."
Can I shoot a bow at him?
I'm going to say that we're over time already, so we're going to pause there with you looking across the pool of stars to Orman, Twid's best friend.
Oh, I have something planned. I have something planned too, Thorn, that will work well with what you want to do. So, yes.
I was
so
gonna channel divinity, but that's not gonna work, so I have a new plan.
So, thank you everybody who joined us tonight. If you're interested in finding more about our adventures, we normally run on Sundays from 7:30 to 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. You can also follow us, and that will update you on what we do on our Wednesday schedule, where we tend to change things up, or if we end up hosting any other games. You can also find out more about the world of Obra in our Twitter, which you will find linked below. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great night, and stay safe out there.